Welcome to part 27 of Wars and Rumors of Wars and Perilous Times. And certainly we are seeing that. Getting back into the rest of this footage.
Don't become angry and bitter about this. Even if you've taken this thing, that will only increase the mark of the beast. You don't want that. You want to forgive. You want to look.
Recapping. And he caused us all, both and small. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. See, you don't have to just have the mark itself. Many people that didn't take that still got the mark because they still serve the underlord. I'm going to put it that way. They still serve Satan. Where's your heart at? Are you pure? Are you of the Lord? Do you have any fruits of the Spirit? Was you willing to hurt people and see people hurt that didn't do this? If you did this, and if you didn't do this, were you willing to see those that didn't be hurt? Did you hope that they would go ahead and die so they wouldn't hurt you? This is not God's ways. That is not to love one another. Most of the people that I know did this. And I love them all very much. And I didn't. By grace, I didn't. But I hear the Lord's voice, and He told me not to do this. So I obeyed Him. And I've been trying so hard to get the word out. But if you have done this, don't turn your back on the Lord. Don't blaspheme God. Come to Him repenting of what you have done. Blasphemy is the only thing unforgivable. Please, 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 come home. Come home. Don't turn away. Come home. The Lord is aware of everything that was happening and what was going to happen. That's why He sent Moses, the spirit of Moses, so to speak, to lead you out. He knew you would need a deliverer because we were to be given into their hands for a time. It is written. That time is now over. It is time for the church to say enough. It is time for God's people to say enough. No more putting this stuff in my temple. It is time we stand up for the truth. It is time we stand against the witchcraft. And we say no more. It is time we take back what has been stolen from us, church. It is time we stop letting them run over the Lord. They're trying to make Him a transgender right now, trying to change the Lord's Prayer, changing the very written Word of God. Do you understand that? And the Bible makes it plain. that we are not to add to or take away from His Word, and they're taking away the pronouns from the Bible and replacing them with their own version, because they're trying to make the Bible inclusive to even include demonic entities, because they think if we accept it, that that's going to help them get into heaven. No, it's not. It absolutely is not. All that's going to do is knock us all out of heaven.
Want to love.
If we are inclusive, that's not the love of God. To love God is to love the Word of God. And if you love the Word of God, you will stand on it. You will stand on it, you'll stand for it, and you'll do what it says. If you love the Lord, you will put Him first in all things, no matter how uncomfortable it gets. This is the truth. This is the truth. I love you, so I tell you the truth. Getting back into this footage.
You want to show forgiveness in this time. But what you need to do, more than anything, is seek forgiveness from the Lord for listening to man and not Him. Let's get on back into this.
The Chinese government released the DNA data or a segment of it to the public, and 3 days later, Pfizer already started the tests for the vaccine. How is that possible? She did not answer. In the case of Moderna, and I asked the CEO of Moderna 2-3 weeks ago when he was here, they submitted trials since 2017. So I'm restating the question, how is it possible that when we found out in the fall of December, in the winter of 2019 about this virus, they submitted tests of their vaccines years before we found out about the virus. And I'm still asking that question now. How is that possible? So these are the legit questions that we all asked, and that people are asking us. And unfortunately, they're declining to answer. So these were the main topics, I would say, that we tried to clarify yesterday. And unfortunately, the Pfizer representative, as Moderna representative, declined to answer.
Again, I state, I am just sharing this news that they shared already. I am offering no medical opinion. I am remaining in the guidelines. I am only stating what they said.
Still only stating what they said.
The proofs that they have received.
And unless the Lord tells me to
no
say what He said.
For my videos to be hit by any forum. For any reason.
We will keep pushing to clarify this fact, and nevertheless to make sure that the European Commission is going to fully release the content of these contracts. Thank you. I would like to give the floor now to Silvia Limmer from Germany.
Thank you very much. First of all, I couldn't agree more with my colleagues on what has already been said here. It is a scandal that Mr. Brula is shirking his duty to speak and answer questions after having made the deal of his life for Pfizer with unsuspicious citizens. Citizens who believed the often groundless promises of the so-called 95% effectiveness and the absolute safety of the vaccine. And not only did they pay billions of euros in taxpayers' money for it, quite a few of them also paid for these promises with the loss of their personal well-being. So it was more than obvious for me to ask for the approval data for the vaccination.
So many people, you heard what she just said, paid for this. paid for this viper bite, this thing right here, with loss of their own well-being.
Just wanted to take a brief moment to recap and say, why, with that first, in part 25 there, that first little segment about the CDC and what they've done, what they did Thursday. Why? Again, I ask, with this information being known, and been known for months now, because as you can see, this video was done 3 months ago. You could certainly go back, the links are in these. You could certainly go back and watch these again at any time. They're on my Facebook. All you got to do is type in the title there that you see on the screen. Oops, sorry, right there. Type in that title into the search engine on the form that you're looking it up on and bring it up. Because we absolutely need the truth to be told.
They said, take it. Then they said, take 2. Then they said, take 3. Then they said, take 4. Who should you trust? Who should you trust? Man, whom is beast, that tells you to cover it up? Or God, Jesus himself? Now let's hear the rest of what this little woman is going to tell us. There's a lot more to come. Remember what I said about not being wrathful? We don't want to get into the flesh. And I already covered the book of Galatians about wrath. Leave that to God.
Especially since the mRNA vaccines have now received full market authorization in the EU, which is completely incomprehensible and unacceptable to me. This at a time when even the media mainstream can no longer conceal the sometimes life-threatening or even fatal side effects. The committee meeting yesterday and the so-called answers to my questions have been an impertinence that cannot be surpassed. Mrs. Small, representing Mr. Burla, either pretended to be ignorant or was unwilling to address any of my questions. The EMA approval was made with reference to additional clinical trial data. Mrs. Small would not answer questions about what the data material was. A mandatory study on safety for pregnant women was quietly discontinued by Pfizer. Preliminary data from the...
If, just saying, if this data was bad for pregnant women, stating what they said, this is not my opinion, stating what she said, I'm just asking a question. If it was bad for pregnant women, how bad is it for infants 6 months old? Just asking.
Safe, a program of the US authority CDC seems to show a devastating rate of spontaneous abortions in pregnant women. Mrs. Small declined to comment, but an unnamed Pfizer official in the room responded that corona could cause complications.
You're against abortion. Yet these things were causing it. You didn't speak out against that, though, did you? You didn't speak out against that type of abortion. Some of us were trying, telling you you didn't know what these things could do to you. But you didn't want to hear us. You tuned us out.
See you in the next part.